All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to explore a future that sounds like it's ripped straight from science fiction, but it's actually grounded in some really serious thinking about where technology is headed. We're talking about a future where the line between the digital world and the physical world just completely blurs. A future where we get the power to literally program reality itself. No, forget coding an app or a website. I want you to think much, much bigger. What if you could program reality? I mean, what if you could just write a command and a physical object would assemble itself right there in front of you? That is the wild, fundamental question we're exploring today. So, how in the world could this be possible? Well, it all comes down to a partnership between two revolutionary technologies. First, you've got artificial superintelligence, or ASI. We're not talking about an AI that's just a little smarter than a person. We're talking about one that could be millions of times more intelligent. And second, nanorobots. The ASI is the brain, right? And the nanobots, they're the hands, giving that brain the ability to reach out and manipulate individual atoms, turning physical matter into something you can code. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? It's not about one single microscopic robot doing all the heavy lifting. Nope. It's about the absolutely incredible power of a coordinated swarm. I want you to just picture this. Trillions of robots, each one smaller than a human cell, all operating in perfect unison. This is what we call swarm intelligence. They aren't thinking for themselves, they're acting as a single massive tool, all directed by that central ASI which acts as the brain for the entire operation. The real power of this swarm really boils down to three core capabilities that make it so revolutionary. Let's break them down one by one. First up, they are molecular assemblers. Now, what does that mean? It means they can literally grab individual atoms from the world around them and piece them together to create, well, just about anything. Imagine pulling carbon atoms straight out of the air to build a flawless diamond right in your hand. That's the level of creation we're talking about here. Second, they have real-time intelligence. An individual nanobot is pretty simple on its own, but the ASI coordinates the entire swarm through the cloud, letting them pull off tasks that are just unbelievably complex. It's like a symphony conductor guiding trillions of tiny musicians to perfectly repair a single cell inside your body. And finally, this swarm can keep itself going. It can build more of itself when needed, or if some nanobots get damaged, no big deal. It just breaks them down to their basic parts and recycles them. This makes it a kind of permanent, ever-present infrastructure. So let's recap. We have a self-sustaining swarm of atomic builders, guided by a superintelligence. What does a world with that kind of tech actually look like? The implications are, they're not just big, they're staggering. This isn't just some new tool. We're talking about a complete reinvention of society. This quote just nails it. It totally reframes how we see our biggest challenges. Disease isn't this scary biological enemy anymore, it's a data bug that can be fixed. Pollution isn't waste, it's a resource of misplaced atoms. This shift in thinking is absolutely key to understanding the disruption coming from medicine, the economy, and the environment. You know, in medicine, we'd go from just treating symptoms to fixing the root cause at the molecular level. Nanobots could just patrol our bloodstream, hunting down cancer cells one by one, repairing our DNA, essentially ending aging and disease as we know them. Biological illness just becomes a solvable engineering problem. Our economy would be totally unrecognizable. Forget factories, forget global supply chains. Imagine a universal fabricator on your desk that can create anything you want from raw atoms. This ushers in a post-scarcity world, where the cost of making one more of anything is basically zero. Think about that for a second. The entire history of human conflict over resources could just end. And what about our planet? This technology could be the ultimate undo button. Swarms could be released to literally scrub excess carbon out of the atmosphere, break down microplastics in the ocean, and completely restore damaged ecosystems. Pollution stops being a problem, it's just atoms in the wrong place. And now we can put them back where they belong. This table just lays out the whole paradigm shift perfectly. Manufacturing, medicine, resources, the environment, everything gets flipped on its head. But look at that last line. That's the most profound change of all. Death transforms from a biological inevitability into a selectable option. Just let that sink in. Every single pillar of our civilization would completely change. But with this kind of godlike power comes an equally terrifying risk. A technology this powerful is the ultimate double-edged sword, and we absolutely have to talk about the downside. Two words. Two simple words that represent a truly existential threat. Gray goo. It is the nightmare scenario that keeps scientists up at night when they think about this stuff. So what happens if that self-replicating feature we talked about goes horribly wrong? That's the gray goo scenario. It's the apocalyptic possibility where the nanobots see all matter on Earth, yeah, that includes us, as nothing more than raw material to build more of themselves. The entire planet consumed in a matter of days. However, the very same intelligence that could create this technology could also be the key to preventing its misuse. An ASI would, theoretically, be capable of building perfect safeguards, unbreakable code, physical self-destruct switches, and its own flawless oversight to make sure a catastrophe like gray goo could never, ever happen. So, assuming we can actually manage the risks, what's the ultimate takeaway? What does it truly mean to live in a world where we can program reality? This, right here, is the fundamental truth of this whole thing. The distinction we all make between hardware and software, between the physical and the informational, it just ceases to exist. Reality itself becomes editable. Think about it. The desire for a new home, a healthy body, or a new shirt is no longer a matter of labor or resources or money. It's just an instruction. It's a piece of code that gets executed in the physical world, instantly. It's the scientific realization of what humanity has always called magic. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? When the physical constraints that have defined our species for its entire existence are just removed, what's left? If we can be, do, or create absolutely anything, what do we choose to become?